Hi! So, Dynamite was not last night, 2 nights ago. Sorry, I'm late. I had a very busy day yesterday, and I have a very busy day today, admittedly, so that's why I'm doing it in the morning. So, really good Dynamite, really stacked card, and felt unmissable, to be perfectly honest. So, let's get into it, because again, that's what I do. So, our show actually opened up with Kenny versus Rocky Romero. And the main thing I noticed when we first saw it was they gave Rocky Romero the fucking jobber entrance, and it wasn't like a gag like the books. It was just weird. I don't know why. Probably just time constraints, maybe. I don't know. I don't think Rocky Romero deserves that personally. So the match was great. I mean, Rocky Romero, it wasn't short. It was like had a bit of time. I think it was like 10 minutes at most. Rocky looks solid, but, obviously he does that's the main spot where he does the, slide and goes, oh, like that. And then Kenny sees him, just goes, fuck off, hits him with the V-trigger. Then obviously gets the finish with the one-winged angel. So, after the match was really the main point. The match was fine with Kenny and Rocky. I expected it to have a bit more time. I didn't expect that to open, to be perfectly honest. But it was really good. After the match, though, Kenny gets the mic and calls out, Don and everyone. And basically says, the title is what he's gunning for. And then Hangman comes out. And then Hangman comes out and basically says, Kenny, if it's you or whoever, I'm gonna go through you. It's all respect, but if I have to go through you, I have to go through you. And then Swerve comes out. And then when Swerve comes out, it's a bit more tense. He's like, listen, I don't know, it's basically making his claim. And he goes up to Kenny and basically gets face to face with Kenny. And Kenny goes, Swerve, I'm not stupid, but those don't sound like competitive words. They sound like fighting words. And it's like, we can get it on right now. And it's like, oh shit. But they're both in the same picture, so it's a bit weird. So after that, Don comes out the backstage. And he comes out with Andrade, basically, and says, whoever is fighting, you got to face Andrade. And that was basically it, whatever. They all three stand, and there's still a bit of tension, but, whatever. It was a fun segment to see all these three together. I really enjoyed it. Again, definitely building Kenny, which, right thing to do. But also, it's just cool. Honestly, it was just really cool. I really enjoyed it. And I wish the match got a bit more time. I think that's what it is, but that's how good it was, you know what I mean? I just feel like Rocky Romero, I've grown to like Rocky Romero getting more into wrestling. So, I like this. But Kenny and Swerve is definitely something to keep an eye on. And Swerve's on some shit. I've said this for a while, but he is definitely on some shit, so I'm keeping an eye on that guy. So, after this, we actually got a Statlander hype package promo thing. In it, obviously calling out Tekla for the match. And then in it was the Babes of Wrath, and they basically say, look, Sky and Juliet, we know what you're after. We know you want to jump in. So I'll give you, and we'll be there to stop you. So we'll give you a deal. If you don't involve in any sort of this, in any way in this match, we'll give you a title shot at Collision. And, I like that, because I feel like that was the obvious call they could have made with, oh, it's just an interference fest from both parts. So it's kind of like, let's just ignore that and make a match out of it. I thought that was really good. I enjoyed that. But then after that, we actually got Jon Moxley versus Ace Austin for the Continental Championship Eliminator. I didn't know it was an Eliminator going into it. Ace Austin just gets battered, but he's so fucking good. You gotta give Ace Austin more time. He's so good, bro. He is a guy where every time I've seen him on screen, I just love. I really do. I wish we get more time with the guy. Moxley basically destroys him, which is the main thing, which, who's shocked. I really like that with Moxley. I think he gets the win, shock. But the match was solid. It wasn't the same as Kyle, where Kyle was, upset, and, it was more like, Jesus, Kyle's really putting the upset on. He wasn't. It was more, it did go, not as expected. I think Ace Austin did handle more than he thought. He was expected to, but not as much as Kyle would have made him tap. I don't think there was ever a point where Ace looked like he was going to win the match, unfortunately. But I will say, I was heartbroken. Ace Austin come out and he didn't have the Bullet of Gold entrance. I was wounded. I know he's got his own theme, but you could have had the. I just love that. I love that entrance. I love that theme. I love everything about Bang Bang Gang, Bullet of Gold, whatever. He's in it. Get him involved. Get it. I don't care. I want it. But point is, the match was really good. Really good. Moxley again. The cutters, stuff like that. I love Moxley. I do. I really love the guy. But then, obviously, what's been happening with the Don Callis family feud. After the match, Takeshita comes out, doesn't even say a word, comes out and straight up to Moxley's face and looking at that belt. And it's like, Jesus. You know what I mean? Like, which I thought was surprising. I don't know if it was just like, context. I feel like Takeshita didn't look like he wanted to be there. I was like, oh God, Takeshita's just there, like, because he's gotta be rather than he wants to be. But obviously that's because the tensions with Don himself. But, whatever. If anyone dare complains about Moxley versus Takeshita, I swear to God, like, are you insane? It's like, come on. It's like the sickest shit ever. I'm all for it. And this obviously will have some involvement with Takeshita and Okada. Makes perfect sense. Let's go for it. However, that is not the end of that point of the segment, though. They're fronting each other. And then as they're fronting each other, Takeshita walks off. So it's like, okay. And then this is quite important. Davis and Doyle do attack Moxley. They jump Moxley. And then obviously Moxley does escape. But Davis and Doyle obviously having a tag match later tonight. That is important. We'll bring that up later. But yeah, match was great. Takeshita and Moxley, obviously I'm going to love. But the match with... I just love Ace Austin got more eyes and he showed out. Just get the guy on more matches, I swear to God. Get him and Austin tagging, because I feel like obviously Juice is out again, Colton's still out, and we don't know what's going on with Jay. Just get them going. I just love the Bang Bang Gang. Let's get them going. So, after this was the TNT match between Mark Briscoe and El Clon. I will say this match fucked. I've been a fan of El Clon since he's been, debuting, and Briscoe is such a reliable guy. The main thing about this match was, obviously, the speed was immense by El Clon. I'm expecting that nowadays. But when Briscoe hit the J Driller, it didn't even, I don't know if it was a no-sell. I don't know if it was a straight-up kick-out. I don't know. It was cool for a moment, but it's not a problem with no-sell and shit like that. I don't really care. It was more the fact of, it was the J Driller, and I feel like, because of, obviously, with Jay Briscoe and stuff, I don't think it's kind of nice to have people kick out of that like El Clon did. I don't think it was disrespectful, rather. I just feel like it was like, okay, I don't want to see that again, really. Not to make El Clon look super cool. Just more like, I feel like the J Drill is like, it should be a bit more protected because of Jay Briscoe and respect way, but I don't know. But that was cool. El Clon's just visually so good. He's so good. And, he spams the emote, obviously, that. And he didn't come out with the big C again. I'm pissed. I want that back. But I like El Clon a lot. I think he's really good. Again, he's so fluid. He's so fluid, so quick. And the guy is just... I don't mind hologram, but it's just so much better than hologram. It's nuts. I do not give a fuck about hologram anymore. I just want El Clon. I just think he's cool. I like this guy. I really do. And Briscoe's obviously great. But the match was phenomenal. The match was really, really good. But the main thing, obviously, as people probably have seen by now, is the ending where Briscoe, I'm happy that he said this. So he goes, Don Callis family, I don't want you all to, I want someone else from your match. I'm going to give you an open challenge on, but no one, he wants to give an open challenge on Collision, but without Don Callis family. Lights go out. No my shadow, no my story. Fucking theme was a banger, bro. Fucking Tommaso Ciampa is in AEW, and he looks brilliant. That presentation is perfection. And obviously, I'm a fan of Ciampa. I made a video on it a while ago, but I like Ciampa a lot. And I didn't think he'd end up in AEW full time. I didn't think he'd be All Elite. I thought he was going to go either to TNA or New Japan, because I feel like he wanted to be the top guy. I love this. I think if he's in this scene, and he clearly is happy to be, I just didn't think he'd want to be in this scene. This is great. This is fully great, and I'm not even against him, because the front's Briscoe, obviously, to get the belt. He's done, and I'm happy that they just said he's not in the Tom Callis family straight up, because that's obviously the expectation. I wouldn't be against if Tommaso Ciampa wins. I think the fact that, again, the presentation is perfection. He looks great. He looks vicious. He didn't hit a move, but he looks vicious. He clearly is emotional to be there. You know what I mean? He's happy. I'm thrilled. I'm all for this. I'm all for this with Tommaso Ciampa. So fucking good. The match on Collision's gonna fuck. However, I will say, and my biggest non-negotiable with Tommaso Ciampa in AEW now, you have to do him versus Josh Alexander. There's no debate. It has to happen. It's a must. If that doesn't happen, I will hunt you down. But yes, match with El Clon was phenomenal. And this will be really good too with Briscoe. However, I will say, Briscoe's reign so far has been a bit, so I don't know if they're going to end it now. but they might be getting started. I don't know. But point is, the presentation was excellent. El Clon looked phenomenal, and Briscoe obviously is great. This was firing on all cylinders. Great moment and great match and whatever. Great. So after this, we have Okada and Fletcher backstage, where Fletcher's just there, and then Okada says, look, basically Okada's the one who asked for him there. And Okada goes, look, Kyle, World's End with the screwdriver. I didn't mean to. I am sorry. I just wanted to win, and I really wanted to face you in the final. Total lying out of his ass. It's hilarious. And Kyle goes, I accept the apology. And it's like, okay, but you just fell for Okada's bait right there, bro. But whatever. This will come back later to play in the night. I will cry. But that was basically the segment. And then after that, we got MJF versus Brody in a promo. Obviously, MJF comes out. He didn't know it was going to be Brody. And he's going, everyone, I'm the bbest. Basic MJF shit. Brody comes out. And he goes more in on Brody in this one. But he's going in, basically, the whole point is, he comes out and he goes, whoa, cut his music, stop barking. And he goes, I've never seen a liberal wrestler look more like a Nazi. That was a big one. But in general, he just basically lays into Brody, calls him a big bag of milk. I thought that was funny as hell. But basically, Brody goes, look, last week you told me I faced no one for the title. That's right, you are completely right. So I thought I'd get a match, and that's going to be me and you next week. Max looks petrified, by the way, and he's like, what? And he's pissed. He's like scared and pissed, and he's like, I didn't agree to this. He goes, no, it's happening next week. Eliminate a match, me and you. This will fuck. I cannot wait. I love Brody King. I love Max. I've seen the match before. It'll be great. The dynamics will be great too. I love MJF against this type of character where he's visibly scared, but he's got to go for it because he is chicken shit. Excellent. Not really. Brody doesn't do too much on the mic. I'm not expecting Brody to do a lot on the mic, but he basically is more of an intimidation presence. Again, I feel like Bandito could have had some involvement, just standing there maybe, but no. You got, I beat your boy, stuff like that. That could have been fun, but Max is just, it is just teasing the next shit. You know what I mean? And like, Brody's a good guy. As much as I love Brody and would love Brody to have a singles title sooner rather than later, mind you. It's a great guy for Max to have as just an in-between to the big feud, which will either be one of the big four at this point. So, all for that. But, solid segment, solid lines. I'm just happy we're getting a Brody match next week. That should be really good. So, after this, we actually got the Young Bucks hype package in them in the new gear, basically saying we got humbled, we're back, we're focused, the tag division should be on notice. Basic hype package. I'm just happy the Bucks are back. And Super Kick Party, obviously. Woo! But that should be fun. I'm just a fan of the Bucks. I don't care. I missed them as EVPs, but that shit was just funny. But Bucks are Bucks. And obviously, let's get some Kenny stuff in there too. But yeah, the Bucks are just the Bucks. They're so fucking good. After that, we actually got Stat versus Tekla. Now, for the Women's World Championship, obviously, this was great. So good. Tekla is so fucking good. Statlander is obviously brilliant. We all know how good Stat is. And there was no interference, by the way, going into it because of the hype package and call out from the Babes of Wrath. But this, I loved. I really did. I thought Tekla, again, is just so fucking good. I mean, the way it's her agility, it's the maneuvering, like the dodges she does, and then does the spider thing. Oh my god, it's phenomenal, and I just adore how like the charisma with her. I feel like with Stat I think Stat's grew in charisma a lot, right? I think like it's more of a laid back, calm, just not arrogance, but she knows how good she is. She's not really the most emotive person, I don't think. I love Statlander. It's not a criticism. But then with Tekla's a vicious, vindictive piece of shit, and I love that. So this works, and I thought it really was a great match. It just kept elevating. I thought this personally was gonna be my match of the night. When I was watching it, I was like, oh my god, this is incredible. But then we'll get onto it. But this was fucking great. It really was. Statlander does retain, obviously, and then I hope what's worried me. I hope this is not the end. I really do, because I feel like I've got a feeling it might be between these two, at least singles-wise. But I really hope it's not the end, because I was all for Tekla winning anyway. But this is like, you got to belt Tekla up sooner rather than later, because the woman's phenomenal. And honestly, it makes me think, because obviously Tekla comes from Stardom. And I forget what the group was called, but she was in this big group. She was obviously in a group with Julia, who's now in WWE. I was watching this and thinking, Jesus, get that woman out of there. She's so good. And it makes me think I need, like, another woman like this, Julia. Oh my God. But this was fucking great. I really enjoyed this. I can't really, because it's 2 days removed, I feel like I'm not going as in depth, and I'm sorry about that. But I remember really loving this match, and it was just, it's so fucking good. I just adore it. So after this was quite a big thing for me. We had the promo with Don, Kyle, and Takeshita backstage, and Don's basically hyping, the family up, going, we got Davis and Doyle in a tag match. Takeshita's gonna go after the TNT, the Continental Championship, and basically saying things have never been better in the Don Callis family. And he basically says before he gets off, look at Kyle, go Carter accepting the apology and getting on, and he leaves. And then he looks, and then Takeshita, Tim and Fletcher, Takeshita and Fletcher left, and Takeshita just goes, did you accept Okada's apology? And Kyle instantly goes, oh, Take. And then he goes, go explain it, and Takeshita walks out, and Kyle's, visibly oh, God. I swear to God, if they dare break up Protashita in any sort of way, I will be heartbroken. Do not do that shit. Please do not. I know it's going to happen, and that's the point. But don't. Just don't do it. I love Protashita. I love this. Everything works. It's all chess pieces, and I love it. I love how this has all been handled from the very start with the Okada stuff. But the fact that they roped Kyle in, then the Protashita stuff. Perfection. Really good. Not even that, big of a segment, but, just the implication of it. It's phenomenal. I love it. I just don't want them to end. But it's true. It is. I just... Don't break Protashita up, please. After this, we actually got a hype package, which basically was just a replay of the promo from Jack Perry on Collision, where he's talking about, Ricochet, calling him out for the Luchasaurus stuff. I've seen it, so it's not really that much to say. But then after that, cut to Ricochet backstage, jumping Jack Perry with the Gates of Agony, and they put him through a table. They hang him up. There's this visually bit, and it was phenomenal. They visually hold Jack Perry up, and he's, doing the scapegoat, sacrifice thing. But then they just put him through a table. I like Ricochet and Jack Perry as a feud. I think it's fun. I think the matches are good too. So, and for the national belts, that's a good scene for the pair of them. Ricochet could be better, but who cares? He's just so good anyway. But, yeah, I like this. I don't say I didn't like the fact that they re-showed the promo, but I just didn't get it. But probably just for context, people didn't watch Collision. But, whatever. After this, we actually got FTR versus Davis and Doyle for the Tag Championships, a match that's been built up for a while. Obviously, so fucking good. Davis and Doyle are just so fucking good. They're just monsters, bro. I mean, I think, personally, when FTR look so overwhelmed by someone's strength, the whole point of this match to me was Davis and Doyle did overpower and everything about FTR. They did. Obviously, FTR come out with Stokely in the damn wheelchair. It's funny as hell. He's funny with Taz on comms. But then, in the match, it was just brutal by the Davis and Doyle. It really was. They both look so fucking good. The strength, they would just take there was a chopping segment. It was Dax and I think it was Doyle or Davis. I think it might have been Davis, where it was obviously Davis or Doyle, and it just chopping sequence. Jesus, it was just nuts. It was just non-stop. The chops they were given to FTR, you could see Dax's chest, were insane, bro. They were nuts, and it was so good. I loved it. I think the sad part is obviously that Jake Doyle did get injured. He literally says on the side of an apron to Cash Wheeler, I've torn my bicep. It's been confirmed that he has. Sucks. Fucking love this. And they were really getting onto it. I thought they could have won the titles here, but I like the way they manoeuvred it, because obviously, like I said earlier, they had the interference where they attacked Jon Moxley. So when they so after this, Jon Moxley and the Death Riders come out and they attack. Did they attack or did they? No, they attacked. They attacked Mark Davis, and then obviously FTR had the paradigm shift or whatever it was called, and then get the win. FTR looked visibly unnerved, and Stokely gets the belt, and he's in the wheelchair and he's pushing. And he goes, "Go, get away!" And Moxley's just still standing there with the Death Riders, looking at Davis and Doyle. Mainly Davis, because Doyle's obviously out because he's tore his tricep, and it's such a good build. It's such a good build. I thought that was, if you're going to have FTR win and you had to protect Davis and Doyle, that was the way to do it. And I'm not normally a fan of big interference spots, but that was definitely the way. They obviously do, escape, for lack of a better term. The Death Riders do get out. There's no Don Callis family run out after it, but, it was just good. It was such a smart maneuver, and I really enjoyed it. The match was great too. I'm just really upset that Davison Doyle's kind of on ice now because obviously Jake something's injury. But keep Mark Davis going. Put him in a tag with Lance Archer. I do not give a fuck. You gotta keep Mark Davis hot because he's so good. The match was great. FTR is just... You need to do something with FTR because I feel like they're just going through the motions. This feels like the big fist. As much as I love the Bang Bang and stuff and everything FTR do, essentially, they need a big time tag feud, I think. And the Bucks is like the obvious call, but we always get the Bucks. It's a bit boring now. And not the matches, just the builds. I feel like personally, is there a lot? I don't know if there's I don't know. You're fans of it. It's not my job. But point is, the match was great, and the ending. I really like the fact that the Death Riders obviously it builds the whole Don Callis Death Riders feud. So I ain't complaining about that shit. This is great. So after this, we actually got backstage Orange Cassidy, and Orange Cassidy is getting asked about his problems with Wheeler Yuta. He just starts laying into Wheeler Yuta, and then he goes like he sucks. He needs a haircut. Basic shit. And Yuta just comes out and goes, "Whoa, Orange, I get your problems with Moxley," and just basically tries to call him out. Then Marina Shafir comes in out of nowhere, and she starts like grabbing hold of Orange Cassidy. And then Tony Storm comes in and goes, "Get your hands off him. That's my Citrus Boy," shit like that. No Mina Shirakawa, unfortunately. But then Marina Shafir and Tony building that feud. I will say, Marina Shafir spoke in Romani, because I think she is Romani. And ignore my ignorance if not. And it's like, I love when Claudio used to do it, where they speak in the native tongue. Shinsuke used to do it in WWE too for a small period, and it just sounds so much cooler, because obviously it is a bit more intimidating. And then she does revert back to English. I thought that's definitely a great way to go with Marina Shafir. I think that adds a lot. I hope they don't drop that. But then they obviously confirm an intergender tag match, Yuta and Marina versus Orange and Tony. That's a good idea. That is a very good idea. I like that. Builds Tony, gets the, it builds them without just taking away from the, the individuality of the singles match. So, but this is a good idea. I like this. Promo was fun. Whatever. However, after this, we got our main event of the evening, which was Andrade versus Swerve. Good God, what a match. I mean, Jesus. Oh my God, the fluidity. I mean, I cannot say this enough. Andrade is a main eventer, and it has to happen. It just has to happen. This match is incredible. Swerve is obviously, we all know how good Swerve is. But Andrade, I love Andrade, but I did not realise he was this fucking good. Jesus, again, it's the sequences. It really is like there's a sequence of just pure dodge. It's like the first few minutes of the match, and it's like normally you get these spots. It's very Osprey-esque where you have these sequence spots, then you slow down. Everyone applauds it. Swerve does it a lot too. Andrade and Swerve go for a bit longer. It's perfect. The hitting, the chops, the kicks. Andrade's posted a picture of a bruise on his neck. It's just incredible. The kill shots. Andrade's just, his charisma's there again. It's just everything about the guy is just elevated. There's a point where he obviously walks out and does the thing with the woman with the text, takes a selfie, and then she gives it's a plant, but I don't give a fuck. It's great. She kisses a napkin, gives him it. The match was my match of the night by a mile, by an absolute mile. Andrade again. It's just I feel like I don't want to downplay Swerve because Swerve's phenomenal. We all know how good Swerve is, but Andrade's just. I just love how he's just being presented so far. I don't know if it's a reward for how he's handled everything or whatever. I do not give a fuck. But, like, the guy's just head-to-head. He's clearly, like... I love that they built a rivalry in this match. It feels like Andrade and Swerve could be a full feud, and I'm not against that. I would love that. Swerve has this individuality about him where he's so unique. And Andrade felt like he had that here too, where it was like, Andrade's character can be kind of generic, if you want me to be perfectly honest. Just basically Mexican, kind of a swagger guy, just a bit arrogant, stuff like that. But he makes it so unique. It's brilliant. I don't really know how to convey it, but it's so good. And I just think the match is incredible. It's the fluidity, like I say. The hit, everything about it, so good. The kickouts are great. I thought the fact that they give Andrade the win, which I was so fucking happy about. No interferences. He beats Swerve clean. Well, not clean. He gives him a low blow. That's a lie. He gets the ref and gives him a low blow, but obviously leads to the finish. But I just love the fact that Andrade got the win here. I do. I love the match. This is easily one of my matches of the night. It's one of my matches of the year thus far. That's insane to say, but it's all Andrade. Honestly, ever since he's come back and had matches, it's just worked. It's been phenomenal. And this obviously was to get him in the world title picture to have basically #1 contenders match. I'll explain this in a sec. But Swerve's visibly pissed. Like, he's on some shit. Like, he's gonna turn heel again. Where he's looking and he's done this. I don't know if it was against Hangman or whoever. It was a while ago where he'd done the same emotion. He looks visibly pissed off. And obviously he's just lost a big match. And I'm all for that because I feel like Swerve's stock is so big that you can never destroy it at this point. I think he's always going to be a main eventer at this point. Or at least in big time feuds. Andrade, I feel like this was a making match for him. Not that he needs it, he's elevated enough. But like, I think this was to go, okay, he's in our main event. And again, brilliant idea. I hope he doesn't take any sorts of light from Bandido, because I think Bandido should be the first Mexican wrestler to win the world belt. But just give me Andrade versus Bandido. Oh my god! But this match, fucking incredible. If you've not watched it, by far match of the night for me. And that was saying so because Statlander versus Tekla and Briscoe versus El Clon, even FTR versus Davison Doyle, was so fucking good. This was the match of the night by a mile, bro. So fucking good. Felt pay-per-view. It felt like a pay-per-view match. For me, it did. The crowd was hot. Everything about it. Everyone loves Andrade. The El Idolo chant you're getting. Jesus Christ. And that's not even the biggest of them. Because after the match, I'll segue into it now. After the match, we had MJF backstage where he's watching the match and then he gets asked about the match. And then Kenny comes up and Kenny goes, hey Max, look, I'm just letting you know in 2 weeks I've got one match now. Because he has the match after this. They confirm Andrade and Kenny have a match next. Which that's for a #1 contenders match at Australia. I think that's against Hangman regardless. I don't really know. I think it is. But point is, they give and Kenny goes, basically, look, 2 more wins and I've got that belt. Essentially. And he goes, look, but when it happens, best of luck. And goes to shake Max's hand. Max looks at him and goes, basically, fuck off. And walks out. And the camera follows him. I love how it did this. It follows Max. He's walking through the arena and he walks around and you see Andrade. And obviously Andrade and Max have had a bit of beef on Twitter. It's been great to see. I love it. And Andrade is just staring at him, the front, and he goes, I should slap you right now, but I want that belt. And basically it's like, the El Idolo chant you're getting after this, I mean, Jesus Christ, they're deafening. And it's backstage. It was incredible. The guys, oh my god, I cannot describe it enough how much I love this for Andrade. I really can't. He's so fucking good, bro. But then, after this, he walks further out through the stadium, walks to his car, and he goes to open the car door, and then the hand shuts it. I thought this was going to be Brody King, because obviously he's got the Eliminator match. And then it's Hangman, and Hangman's just staring at him. And then Max goes to open it again, and Hangman shuts it, and then he goes to open it and goes, drive the fucking car. Drives out, and Hangman's just looking on and turns around and starts smiling. That entire ending segment was truly a 10 out of 10. It's one of the best AEW things I've seen in a while. It sums up Dynamite. I'll say it in a minute. But it's perfect. It was perfect. It sums up. It's showing you what's next. It excites you. The Andrade was Max stuff. I can't get out of my head. And that's saying something because Kenny and Hangman did. That's how big Andrade. Obviously, it's coming off an Andrade win and a great match. But I was just all about that because of the feud that's being built. And he goes, I should slap you right now. Like, I just feel like that was the way to get their feud. I want an Andrade versus Max feud regardless what happens. I want that. And I just think, even with Hangman, they're not dropping the Hangman is their guy. And I feel like that's what I love. He's still one of their guys. And he has to be. I feel like people are kind of considering going, oh, Hangman lost the belt so soon, in retrospect. And it was like, he's not never going to be the guy for them. It's like, no, the guy is the guy. He's the main character. And Kenny's obviously there. Andrade being elevated. Max has got the belt. There's like 6 people after Max with his damn belt already. And it's nuts. It's perfect how they've presented it. And I feel like this small little ending to Dynamite encapsulates that perfectly. It ends on Hangman smiling, which... that's very rare, but I like that. So yeah, that was the ending of Dynamite with a phenomenal segment and frankly, a phenomenal Dynamite. I will say my favourite part about Dynamite in general, all was how everything felt so intertwined, so like just knitted together. It feels like everything in Dynamite connected to each other well, and that's what I loved. Davison Doyle jumping Moxley, so that affected their match. You had Okada segment with Fletcher, which obviously affected the Fletcher and Takeshita backstage. Obviously, Brody, Andrade, everything with Max, it works so perfectly. I feel like this is a perfect introductory episode for anyone trying to get into AEW. I really do. And I felt that watching it, but also I feel like just frankly, it's one of the best AEW Dynamites I've seen in a while. And I love AEW Dynamite, as you probably all can see. So, and I watch it weekly. So it's like, I fucking loved it. I really did. I just think with this entire this card I loved. I think this, again, I adore it. I just love how it all flowed. It had a brilliant flow to it. Didn't have no choppiness. It felt like, again, this tied into this tied into this. Let's just flow. Perfect. No down points, no bad matches, no real slogs. Everything was just perfect. This is the perfect pacing, perfect setup. I love this Dynamite. I really do. And again, the matches, Swerve versus Andrade is, Jesus Christ, it was pay-per-view worthy. And Stab versus Tekla wasn't far behind. El Con versus Briscoe was nuts. Tommaso Ciampa debuted, and that's like a nuts thing to happen. But like, to me, I don't want to say it's overshadowed. It's definitely not. But like, Swerve versus Andrade happened, and like, that's not gonna leave my mind. Jesus Christ. But Tommaso Ciampa fucking debuted. Jesus Christ. Oh my god, everything about it. Incredible Dynamite. Really was. Love this Dynamite a lot. So yeah, that's my opinion on AEW Dynamite this week. I loved it. I really did. Sorry it was late again, by the way. I don't you care. But I love this match. I really did. This match, this card, but the match, Swerve versus Andrade, it still hasn't left my brain. It's so fucking good. I highly recommend anyone to watch that match specifically. But what did you think of the entire card? Did you love Swerve on Andrade as much as I did? And who do you think Max should face for that belt? Because any three are great, but I'm not lying. I think Andrade might. Kenny probably. But Andrade's like, oh, I don't want to miss that option. I really don't. But either way, let's just fucking go for it. It's so fucking good.